One very famous science fiction writer, William Gibson, once said, very famously, that the future is already here, it's just unequally distributed. He was right, of course, and if you want to see the future, you need to look at the music business. The music business was first into the digital crisis, and now it is increasingly successfully reinventing itself. We spent the week here at the SF MusicTech event, Brian Zisk's excellent San Francisco music event, interviewing entrepreneurs and artists who are literally reinventing the future of music in our digital age. And one guy who is playing an increasingly important role in empowering audience is David Hazan, the Chief Marketing Officer of Mobile Backstage, a platform for empowering audience. David, welcome to TechCrunch TV.
Hey, thank you.
Well, that was a very long and rather abstract introduction, David. I'm sure you can do a much better job introducing yourself and your company. What are you guys doing?
Well, what we do is we provide a platform for artists and fans to communicate in real time across all platforms, mobile, Facebook, and web.
How different are you from, say, Evan Lowenstein's Staging?
Well, that's kind of a very cool tip jar for monetizing live music performances. We're best thought of as the 21st century equivalent to a fan club, except instead of writing letters and stamping and maybe getting a response written by the band secretary, there's real-time, two-way engagement between artists and fans, and between fans and fans. And this communication allows for a quick and explosive growth of community. And at a time when the only thing that artists can count on are their core fans, we just looked and saw there was really very little serving the core fans, the hardcore fans who love a band, who don't just like a band, but love a band. Smaller number than those who like a band, but arguably much more important group, and there's so little to take care of them. We developed Mobile Backstage as a way to nurture that core fan base.
So, David, what, fans go onto your platform to begin and then
They
build?
download the app from the iTunes App Store or from the Android Store or from Nokia, and then they just log on and they type on wherever they want, they click on it, and they're off.
And anyone can join a group?
Anyone can download the app and join the group. And so far, all of our artists that are using it are not charging for that app, and we'd of course like to see it continue that way.
So the artists themselves has to take the initiative in starting their club, is that right?
Yes, it's critical that a Mobile Backstage community launch with an initial post by the artist. But we found with artist Tiny Tempa in particular that a community can grow explosively even when the artist drops out. In this case, Tiny Tempa signed a deal with BlackBerry and was contractually forbidden to touch an iPhone. And we don't support BlackBerry for a variety of reasons.
BlackBerry?
Yeah, and not that's
What's
not
that?
for this discussion. There's just it's impossible to maintain consistency, and that's a whole.
What is
separate-
BlackBerry?
BlackBerry, RIM.
Oh,
Blackberries.
yeah, I thought they went out of business.
Well, no, but they're not exactly burning up the charts these days, and they're.
So who are some of the better-known acts on your platform?
Well, we have a lot of metal bands. Black Label Society, we saw 9,000 fans creating 250,000 pieces of content in the first little while. And it was a great insight into how, insanely engaged our users tend to be. Yumi at 6 had 2 million page views in its first month for a brand new pop band out of the UK at the time, a couple of years ago. And when their next album came out, they went in the pop charts in the UK at number 2. The company's based in Helsinki, so we're a little bit farther along in Europe than we are in the US, but we're very quickly catching up. We have some major
Any
announcements.
coincidence that you were founded in Scandinavia like Spotify?
Helsinki is kind of its own thing, it's Nokia, Angry Birds, and a lot
So
of
what's
stuff.
Nokia's involvement in this?
It's just they're also from Helsinki.
They're
same
not
hometown.
investors?
No, they're not. They're not.
So how many fans are using your platform?
100,000. 100,000.
When were you
users.
when were you founded as a company?
2010.
And what's the revenue model?
The revenue model is in development. We're really
What do you mean in
focusing on
development?
building. Well, we're building the community.
I've heard that one
we're-
before.
Exactly, but this is if you have a fully engaged and nurtured fan base, that's really what we're focusing on.
So when you go in public?
The ads, we got a ways to go before we start entertaining those
But
questions.
seriously, David, where are possible revenue opportunities? At the moment, there's no revenue at all?
We sell our platform.
To the artist?
Yes. And we have monthly maintenance fees, and there's an initial setup fee to create it.
So you do actually have revenue?
Yes, we do.
But how many people in the company?
12.
And did you take on angel investment? Are you self-financed?
Self-financed for now.
And
Some
who's
small personal investors, but we're not going for a Series A just
Who's
yet.
your CEO?
Pavel Bachman, guy who had an independent record company in Finland. They had a lot of local #1 hits, and they just couldn't find the fan engagement tool they were looking for that they needed for their artists. And that's how Mobile Backstage evolved.
How empowered do you think the fan will become in the digital era?
It's irreversible. They're getting more powerful all the time. The labels that used to control everything and control distribution and decide that they had to buy the whole album instead of the song or the couple of songs they wanted. Technology, by definition, empowers the fans and levels the playing field. And
how replicable is your model in other entertainment verticals, in writing, in movie making?
I would say that anytime there's a long-lasting community that can be facilitated and grown through our platform, it's viable. But to pick a quick contrast, movies, because they tend to have a big bill to the opening and then they're done and on to the next film, is less of a good example than, say, a television show who has repeated seasons, and there's more of an opportunity to build that long-term community.
Why would you need what you have when Facebook already exists?
Because Facebook is for fans who like a band. When someone's on Facebook, it's about themselves. They might be focusing on a band 1 minute, they'll get served by an ad over here, their friend will chime in with something. There's not that singular focus on the artist, their music, their fans, and the community. That's what we provide. It's a smaller universe, but it's a more focused universe. And there are lots of other ways besides Facebook in which casual fans can be engaged, but to really keep super fans, core fans, engaged and nurtured, nothing does that better than Mobile Backstage.
How do you integrate with real-time networks like Facebook and Twitter?
Well, we have an app that is easily accessible off of an artist's Facebook page. And we integrate flawlessly with everything that we integrate with.
What's the future then, David, for Mobile Backstage? Where do you want to take this company? Where does it need to be to become viable?
More bands equals more fans equals more bands. It's just a cycle that will continue to spiral and grow of its own momentum, and hopefully we can push that as much as we can on the way.
How many bands are you looking for? Where would you like to be in a year's time?
There's some discussion about that, but more bands than we have now.
Well, how many do you have now?
We have 100.
So where would you need to be? 500, 1,000?
It's in that range.
In that
is where
range.
we need to be and where we want to be. And that's still open to some discussion, which is an advantage of being a private company.
So David, finally, there's a pitch out there. A lot of band members in the audience. Why should they be on your platform?
Because they understand, hopefully, because if they don't, they're wrong, that the most important asset that they have, regardless of what level they're at, is their core fan base. And there pretty well isn't anyone that would disagree with that. And if you use that as a starting point, core fan base is the most important asset, and the next question becomes, are you doing everything you can to fully engage and nurture those all-important core fans? An artist is going to have to stop and think, and Mobile Backstage is the best solution to making sure that they can answer that question, yes.
Well, there you have it. The future of the music industry, and indeed perhaps the entire entertainment industry in our digital age, lies with the fan and the value of the fan, and that's where indeed the big money may be. David, thank you so much for appearing on TechCrunch TV.
Thank you very much.